Hello everybody. I'm going to talk to you today about how we end racism now in the corporate world. And the good news is, it's very simple. All you have to do is to hire, welcome and promote Black talent. And I use each of those three words very specifically, and in the course of this chat, I'll explain why. But there are four reasons why hiring, welcoming, promoting Black talent ends racism in the corporate world immediately. The first is that when you hire, welcome, and promote Black talent, you pay Black talent. You begin channeling wealth to Black families and households, you equalize the racist pay gap, and you begin building the Black economy. The second reason is that when you hire, welcome and promote Black talent at every level of your company, you role model and showcase Black talent in the full spectrum of professional and leadership roles. That means that Black youth will be inspired because they can look at those people and go, wow, if they can do it, so can I. And that's an enormously motivational force. But also, when you showcase Black talent in every role at your company, you end the appalling scenario where people think the Black person in the room or the building is the coffee lady or the janitor. The third reason that hiring, welcoming, and promoting Black talent ends racism is because when the white people in your company are surrounded every minute of every working day by brilliant Black talent as professional equals, contributing their expertise, insights, creativity, intelligence, observations to collaborating to make the work better and to make the company successful, that ends racist attitudes very quickly. And the fourth reason is, when you hire, welcome, and promote Black talent, you enable the Black lens to be brought to bear in every company, in every industry, on innovation, disruption, creativity. For example, in our industry, advertising, when you have Black talent creating the ads, approving the ads, producing the ads, directing the ads, casting the ads, and running the ads, you don't have to worry about, are these ads diverse enough? Because you'll never have to think about that again. And by the way, it's especially important in our industry that we do that, because the single most appalling response anybody can make when challenged on diversity is, ooh, diversity is great, but we can't lower the bar. Diversity raises the fucking bar. The bar is set so low when it's been defined, as it always has been historically, by white men. We have not even begun to see how high the bar can go when it's raised by the talents, creativity, and skills of Black people. And I mention our industry deliberately. This is true of many other industries, but in ours, advertising is a very potent social force. What we show and demonstrate in advertising absolutely drives societal attitudes and behavior. And so when we end racism in our industry by hiring, welcoming, promoting Black talent at every level to, as I've said, create, approve, direct, produce, cast, run the ads, not only will our creative output be so much better, so much more innovative and disruptive, it will also, in itself, influence the world in a way that ends racism. So those are the four reasons why doing these very simple things ends race in the corporate world. Now, those actions are simple, but actually how you take them, how you make them happen isn't. And I want to explain what I mean by that, because this is my own specific focus as a business consultant. Because when you hire me, you are not hiring an unconscious bias coach. You are not hiring a diversity and inclusion specialist. There are many brilliant people doing that work. I am a hard-headed business strategist. And what I do is I help companies re-engineer their systems and processes and the way they operate to integrate diversity and inclusion into them on a day-to-day basis, that therefore makes it a key driver of future growth, profitability, and desired business outcomes. And the reason this is important, that you don't just talk about this, you do this, is because I actually advise companies not to bang on about diversity constantly in the way that many companies currently are, not to go on and on about the fact that you have a chief diversity officer and you have diversity initiatives and you say the word diversity a lot. There are two reasons why that's not a good idea. The first is that when a company goes on and on about diversity and very obviously holds diversity training sessions and workshops and talks about it a lot, that often produces a negative effect in that company's white employees, who begin feeling resentful and excluded. And the second reason that's not a good idea is because it's human nature to believe that if we do good in one area, it's okay to balance that out by doing bad in another. And the very mundane, everyday example is I just had a Diet Coke, so now I can eat this bag of chips. And so when a company is trumpeting everything it's doing in the name of diversity, it's very easy for employees within that company to go, oh, we have diversity covered over there. And so it's absolutely fine for me to carry on operating the way I always have been here because, we're diverse, diversity is happening over there, and I can just carry on doing what I've always done. And that's not a good idea. And so I'm going to give an example of what I mean when I talk about the importance of re-engineering the way you operate and your systems and processes if you truly want to be anti-racist, diverse and inclusive. So I get some version of this call regularly. Somebody calls me from the client brand marketing side, or any business discipline, and they say, Cindy, I've got this really great leadership position in my company, senior role, and I want to hire a black woman. Who do you know? And so I explain it doesn't work like that. And I'm going to take you through the 4 levels of what you need to do if you genuinely want to hire black talent, a black woman, into an important role in your organization. So I had a call like this last year from a very senior person on the client side in our industry. And I'd had some time to research what this particular leader was doing in the context of looking for candidates for what was a very senior global senior position. And what I said was, the first thing you have to do in this scenario, if you really want a black woman in this role, is you have to re-engineer your job description. in this particular case, I said, you have written your job description to appeal to white men. And the demonstration of that is that you posted that job description on LinkedIn, and in the comments thread below it, there's a very long comments thread, are a ton of white men either recommending themselves for this position or recommending other white men for this position. And so I worked with this person. I deconstructed the entire job description, and I'm obviously naming no names here, and I'm not going to get specific because there were some things that were peculiar to the nature of the company and the role. But I'll give you one example. This job description said, you will have a creative track record that makes us all envious. And I said, no, they won't. Because a black woman will never have been promoted into the position and given the opportunity to demonstrate that creative track record. And so you need to rewrite that point to say something along the lines of, this is the role where you can finally bring all of that creativity to bear to do the things you've always wanted to do. So that's the first step. If you want to hire brilliant black talent into your organization, re-engineer your job spec. And then the second level is you need to rebrief your recruiters. So in this particular case, but equally in many others, what I say to the client is, so I know that you have briefed your recruiters for a global CMO position to find you other people doing a brilliant job as global CMOs right now. Don't do that. Brief your recruiters. If, for example, you want to hire black women, brief your recruiters to find brilliant black talent operating 1, 2, 3 levels below that position. Because you need to hire brilliant black talent doing what white men do to hire white men all the time, which is hire on potential, not proof. So, it's very easy for white male leadership to do that with white male candidates because they look at a white man, they go, oh, he reminds me of myself at his age. I can see myself in him. Yeah, he's great to have a beer with. We reckon he can do the job. Let's give it to him. With a woman, with a black candidate, with an off-color candidate, with the rest of us, it's a whole different set of criteria. Well, has she done the job before? Has she done the job well enough? Has she done the job long enough? I said, brief your recruiters to look for brilliant talent with the potential to do this job 1, 2, 3 levels down from that right now. Because I guarantee you, when you hire that brilliant black talent, they will do a far better job than the white men currently in that position who never had to battle the obstacles they did to get there. Then my third piece of advice is you have to re-engineer your interview process. Because white men interviewing other white men start from a position of positivity. They are actively looking throughout the interview process for reasons to hire that white man. White men interviewing the rest of us start from a position of negativity, and they are actively looking throughout the interview process for reasons not to hire us. They're looking for red flags. And so you have to completely redesign the interview process, so that is not what's happening. And then the fourth thing I advise is you have to re-engineer your working environment. Because if you want to invite a brilliant black female candidate into this company to interview for this position, and if she sees, as she will, a sea of white men, she's going to think, why the fuck would I put myself in there? I know exactly what's going to happen. And it's actually very easy to re-engineer that work environment because all you do is you promote the brilliant black talent you've been failing to promote for years, that have been kept down through no fault of their own, been overlooked and passed over for promotions. Promote them immediately so that when you bring that brilliant black female candidate in, she can see that this is an environment that absolutely values and promotes black talent. And it's one she might consider helping you take to new heights of success. So That is what I mean by the fact that, it's not enough to have the good intentions of, oh yes, we want to hire diversity. You have to ensure that you really do hire diversity. You have to ensure that diversity is welcomed and enabled to thrive. And you have to ensure that you are promoting diversity. Because I also advise businesses to cease this focus that we see all too often, again, very much in the industry of, oh yes, yeah, no, we absolutely want to be diverse. And so we are really focused on, diverse internships, diverse entry-level recruiting. It doesn't matter how much brilliant black talent you bring in at the bottom if you show it nowhere to go at the top. And so what I recommend to white men and women in leadership and management is hire into equal power with you brilliant black talent that you feel threatened by. And I articulate like that because that is how you need to think about it. You need to consciously consider what these mental blocks and barriers are that have been operating for all these years in order to break them down. And I have ideas on how to do that, but I don't have the time to talk about them now. But this is what I do. I'm absolutely available for hire as a consultant to work with you to re-engineer your working processes, to be able to welcome in diversity and inclusion. And I'm obviously available to be booked to come and speak to your leadership and anybody in your organization about this. Because we need you to do everything I've just talked about and a great deal more in order to end racism now in the corporate world in a way that will drive your business to heights that you didn't even know you could dream of. Thank you.